Hi everybody. 2 days to go. Well, today and tomorrow, and then it's 2024. What happened to 2023? So let's have a bit of a reflect today on how you view the last 12 months and whether they've been good for you, good for the people around you, your loved ones, your family, good for the country that you live in, and I suppose especially today, how does it reflect on Thailand? It's not really the place here to talk about all the other world events. There's plenty of other places you can discuss that, and there's some very big unsolvable problems, certainly something that we probably can't tackle here realistically. So interested to both reflect on this year here in Thailand and also look forward to the next year. And I'm pretty excited about 2024. In my mind, it's going to be a year of consolidation. In my new home, 2023 has, well, been a bit surprising. I've ended up in a place this time last year I didn't even know about. So quite a few changes for me this year, including a new house, new circumstances, a lot of things, but I'm relishing in the change. And I think that's part of getting older. Doing what you can to revel in the change, because things aren't going to stop just because you want them to. But great to have you all with us. Let's go through and say hello to a few people. I've got a lot of people online already. Hi, Hans. And also we've got John D, Shane O. I will return to Thailand in 2024 and begin travelling again. Scott D said he's going to give us some of his pearls of wisdom during the program. We look forward to that. Giza Break. Flights need more flights from Europe to bring the price down. I just booked flights to Florida, which were less than half the cost of flights to Thailand. So where are you coming from in Europe? Would be interested to know. Nong Wua So, morning from Nong Wai. It's a nice 23 at the moment. Don McCarthy. Hello, Dom, beg your pardon. Morning, guys. Did you see the ambulance driver who picked up the Taiwanese hit-and-run victim got a threatening message not to talk about the incident? I think we reported that at the time. That was just a very tawdry event altogether. And I look forward to following that up when we get some more information. But I think the hospital did get in a world of trouble. Whatever happened to the guy that chopped his boyfriend up and dumped him in the water? Okay, well that's that happened in Kopangan, and he's was on trial. I think about a month ago. He's going to end up spending a lot of time in jail in Thailand. So he pleaded. I think in the end he pleaded guilty. So, good morning all, says Frank in Thailand. Saturday already, time flies. Frank in Thailand, I won't be at the live show. I've got a house to build. Well, hello and goodbye. Stephen Richter says, Happy New Year, Tim. Still deciding on where to party on New Year's Eve here in Bangkok. Yes, there's quite a lot to do in Bangkok. So just about anywhere you go, all the main tourist areas. I mean, around Central World, that's going to be big. It always is. Siam Square is always big. Where else? Come on. Oh, there's 2 or 3 of the big areas. I'm sure you'll remind me. I read them out yesterday at the start of the program. Speaking about yesterday's program, I got demonetized yesterday. So thank you, YouTube, for letting me waste an entire 3 hours producing yesterday's program. I suspected the last story I did was going to get some reaction. It was that fight between the Indians and the Thais. And it was a depiction of violence. So they were sort of throwing punches at each other. It all looked a little bit dishevelled and disorderly, but also was clearly violence, I suppose. And if I didn't include the video clip, I'm sure I wouldn't have been demonetized. But that pisses me off when you put in 3 hours of work for your 15-minute program each day, and then you end up getting demonetized. So it's just a complete waste of, time and money. But those things happen. YouTube is the platform that I use. There's nothing else that comes anywhere near giving some sort of return or reach. So I'm sort of stuck and having to work with YouTube, but it wasn't. When it happened about 2 hours after, because the bots take a while to trawl through the programs, and also I imagine somebody made a complaint and alerted YouTube. So that's what happened. So there you go. I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. I've had this bout of shingles that's been hanging around for the past week, and ever since I hit the medication about 4 days ago, I've been feeling a lot better. So I have been starting to look around for the vaccine. Now there are 2 vaccines you can get for shingles. I don't want to go on about this because I know you don't really care about my medical situation. But if you had chicken pox when you were a kid, then you've got, they say, between about a 10 and 15% chance of getting shingles at some time during your adulthood, usually caused by things like stresses. Could be work stresses, physical stresses, whatever those stresses might be. That's what happens to me. I get a bit run down, I get a bit busy, get stressed, and that brings on a bout of shingles, and I usually get a bout at least once every year. This year's been particularly bad, so haven't really enjoyed it very much. But there has been a vaccine around for a while and available here in Thailand. But a lot of people saying it wasn't as effective as they thought it would be. It was also apparently a bit painful. But there's this new one called Shingles. I'm not here to promote any particular medical advancements or companies, but that's the name of it. And I was looking when I was in Australia last year to have a jab because it was available in Australia, but you have to get 2 jabs 6 months apart. So I was then having to probably fly down to Singapore 6 months later because they too have the jab there. But I've been alerted that it's now available here in Thailand. So and somebody said it's available at the Bangkok Hospital in Phuket, 17,000 baht per dose. So I might just go to the public hospital up here in Panga first and see if I can get it a little bit cheaper than that. But I'd be very happy not to suffer shingles ever again. So let's go through some more of your comments, then we'll get on to what we sort of see as the main stories from the last year and look forward to 2024. Happy New Year, Tim Newton fans from Stephen, Scott D, hi, and all of the usual suspects very loyal to this channel. Yeah, that's great. They're your friends, your people that I spend an hour with every week, which is more time than I spend with a lot of people. The Queensland Tiger, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all from sunny Cha Am in Thailand. We've got a bit of a wiggle in the power again. Don't want to see that, because if the internet goes, then it's going to be goodbye live stream. Hello everybody, Stephen. Hi, Thai Bulldog. Good morning from Samut Prakan. Good morning from Samui by David. We've got Mike Rodriguez. Good morning from America. What are your New Year's resolutions for 2024? Well, as I mentioned, it's all about consolidation for me after making all these changes and spending a lot of money. Pretty much everything I have on establishing these 3 new Airbnbs. Next year is all going to be about just cleaning up the mess, getting them all open, getting the bookings coming in. Glad to say that Bonneville, the one next door, has been going great guns, and we've got some guests in there at the moment all the way until New Year. You can see them out the back cooking their breakfast. So, looking forward to more guests arriving and meeting more people. It's always good to see people. Enjoy the place and experience Turtle Beach, which is now my new home. So next year it's all about consolidation and simplify. So after, not necessarily complicating things this year, but I have given myself a lot of workload over the past couple of months and into the next couple of months as well. But yeah, when that settles down and we've got them all open, it's just a matter of watering the plants, keeping everything clean, and making sure we just get the guests through. And that'll be my consolidation for 2024. Beyond that, just maintaining good health and getting out, exercising every day, eating a good diet, keeping off the things that I know are bad for me, and pushing on. That's really my New Year's resolution, as simple as it might be. Okay, so hello to, where'd this come from? Just scrolling down. Daniel R. Thank you very, very much for your kind support to the program. Compensate a bit for the demonetization. Yeah, look, I'm not seeking compensation for yesterday's demonetization. It was a mistake I made, and as I said, I did realise that there was a potential risk, and I could have gone in and re-uploaded the program, but just not feeling particularly well yesterday. I just wasn't going to bother. Hi, William S. Good morning. The bus taking me from Hua Hin to Pattaya. Looks like you're going to have a good New Year in Pattaya. Cow pat a day keeps the doctor away, says Cosmo. $650 a shot in Australia. Free if 70 years old. Well, flying to Australia to get a free shot, even if I'm covered under Medicare, is a very expensive way to get it. Just got my second of the very expensive shingle shot. After that, they told me there's no guarantee it works. Thomas, well, I have heard good reports in all my internet research. And look, everybody is going to have their own personal, their own variation of shingles. It's quite a varied disease and can affect people in quite different ways. So I imagine that the vaccines, like a lot of vaccines for a lot of different diseases, are going to affect people in different ways and protect people in different ways. And to those people who, damn, I'm not going to read that out. I'm just not. To the people yesterday who were commenting saying, oh, did you have the COVID vaccine? That's why you got shingles. I mean, really, haven't you got anything better to do? And I'm just not going to be taking medical advice from people who like peddling and enjoy peddling rubbish on the internet. And there's been too much of that in the past, and we hope we can get rid of you off the internet sometime over the next year, or that you come to your senses and start doing some reading before posting some of the damaging rubbish that you do. Almost to 30,000. I don't know. What are we actually on? Can I check? Just and we'll get into the stories in just a moment. But how can I check my... Here we go. Go to the dashboard. And we've got 29,885 subscribers as of today. I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to get to 30,000 before the end of the year. But if you're watching now and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Or I might have just lost some subscribers after just saying what I just did. Anyway, let's go to the first story, and we'll get to the comments as often as we can during the program. But first, as we do on Saturdays, a quick look at what it's like. Can I do this? I go click, and I go, here we go. This is what it was like on the beach this morning. Well, just me and a lone dog at around about 8 o'clock. Walking along Turtle Beach. It's just a long, straight beach that runs all the way from Phuket, literally up to Khao Lak. So just me and the dog and a few little crabs along this stretch of beach. And as you can see, very, very little wind at all. And just a bit of a shore break coming in. But I'll certainly be swimming in that a little bit later today. And I hope you get the opportunity at some stage in 2024 to visit us here at a very, very, very nice part of the world. All right, let's have a talk about the main story for 2024. And as far as I was concerned, it was not so much I'll try and just backtrack a bit. The election was obviously in Thailand the biggest story because just about all Thais voted, and they were looking forward to some changes. And as I was just about to say, it was not so much the change and the addition of a new government, it was the subtraction of what they'd lost or what they'd got rid of or voted out that I think was the profound change to Thai politics this year. So let's have a look at that. And Thai PBS World says the three Ps lose power as voters pull plug on junta legacy. And you might want to complain about the way that Move Forward Party didn't become the elected government. We've gone through that ad nauseum over the past year. But I really think that this is the main story, the fact that we've said goodbye, adios, sayonara to the junta and that past 9 years of conservative government here in Thailand. And after 9 years in power, the once formidable alliance of Thailand's three brothers in arms finally came to an end in 2023. And these brothers in arms were three army generals, two whom were much more prominent than the third, but they were basically working as a triumvirate of power here in Thailand. And the political era of the three Ps, that's General Prayut Chan-o-cha, General Prawit Wongsuwon, and General Anupong Pauchinda, ended with the disappointing performance of the old power cliques parties at the May 14 general election. And the three Ps went their separate ways after their parties were beaten in this year's election by two former opposition leaders, with the Liberal Move Forward winning the most seats, just ahead of Per Thai. And like in other countries, and Steve and I have a talk about this tomorrow in Grumpy Old Men, but just winning the most number of votes doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to form a government. And particularly in these sort of bicameral governments where you have MPs standing for seats and the highest number of seats, So the Per Thai party were able to pull together the majority of votes in the lower house, and the highest number of MP votes. And that's what it takes. The Move Forward Party didn't get a majority in the lower house, and for all sorts of political reasons, they weren't able to pull together a coalition giving them a majority. So that's sort of what happened. It was absolutely legal, even though a lot of people say it wasn't supporting the people's will, who clearly wanted to see Pita Limjaroenrat and the Move Forward Party take some sort of lead in the government. Peter will be back, don't you worry about that. But as I said, we did get a new, more progressive government in Thailand, and we did get to say goodbye to the power of the army running the country. And on November the 29th, Prayut was appointed by Royal Command to the Privy Council, which serves as His Majesty the King's advisory body. And Prayut's political fall coincided with Per Thai's return to power after its prime ministerial candidate, Seta Tawisin, secured majority support in Parliament to become Thailand's next leader. And analysts say the old power clique opted to work with Per Thai to prevent the Liberal Move Forward Party from forming a government. Well, that's called politics. And they made a deal with the devil, and they did form a coalition with some of the old parties. But I believe that's probably going to lead to a stable term in Thai government, given that factions from various sides are sort of being kept involved and kept in the loop and given ministries and given a run in the government. So whilst Pita and the rest of the Move Forward Party lick their wounds and cool their time, I think we're going to see a relatively stable time in Thai politics, and stability is probably the best thing that a country could wish for. So let's hope that continues. Anupong, he was 74. He's not been seen on a political stage since this year's election. In contrast to his two comrades in arms, Big Brother Prawit remains involved in politics, albeit with a considerably diminished role compared to his heyday. Haven't seen him in the headlines for a long time. And yes, Prawit, the former Prime Minister, now on the Privy Council here in Thailand. And interestingly, people saying, oh, it's just a matter of time before there's another coup. Well, let's just see what is said about that. NationThailand.com reporting the army chief confirms good ties with the new government. And the army chief yesterday described as good the ties between the Royal Thai Army and the coalition government led by the Per Thai Party. Remembering that you've got remnants of the army-inspired parties, United Thai Nation and Per Thai Party, who are in the coalition. So, yeah, it's going to keep the army happy, and that's sort of what it's all about here in Thailand. He says the Thais are good. No need to talk about relaxation because they've never been tense, he said in a media interview. And the army is considered a key power in Thai politics. Most successful military coups in the past, including the most recent one in May 2014, were led by an army chief, one of the most powerful positions in the Thai military. I would have thought by far the most powerful role in the Thai military. Who would be more powerful than the army chief, the Thai army chief? Anyway, that article from the nation Thailand, and not even denying, they're not even talking about coups. No one's talking about coups at the moment. There's just no need to be talking about coups in Thailand at the moment because the army has still sort of got their finger in the pie, and the coalition's got a broad spectrum of political flavours, and you've just got the Move Forward Party there in opposition who are, well, already working with the government in regards to a number of current acts and bills that are going up for vote. So I think we've got a fairly workable parliament in Thailand at the moment. So thumbs up, and let's hope that continues to be stable in the next 12 months. And okay, so let's just go back a little bit and see what we've missed, because I don't want to miss your comments. G'day from Canada, says Brett Border. Hi, Brett, nice to have you with us. And Glenn John says, g'day, Tim. 2024 should be a good year, says Stephen Richter. I think we're all looking forward to a good year. Not that 2023 was particularly bad, obviously an important year of recovery for a lot of economies. And I think at the start of the year, a lot of people were fearing recession around the world and doom and gloom. But somehow the most powerful economy in the world, the United States, has been able to avoid going into recession. So thumbs up to all the officials there who were able to avoid that economy going into recession, because if America went into a recession, it would have pushed a lot of other economies in that same direction. But it's all heading in the right direction at the moment, and it's certainly been a bull market in the stock market as well. So, I mean, yes, there will be ups and downs in the stock market, I'm sure, and they can't keep on going up and up and up. But I think 2023 ended up economically a lot more positive than a lot of people were predicting. Hello from Vancouver, says Joe. Hello from your old stomping ground, Melbourne, says Warren. And John S. in Melbourne, question, how does Tai Muang ring in the new year? I don't know, I'll tell you tomorrow night. Look, fireworks are freely available, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's any planned fireworks, but I'm pretty sure people will be out lighting fireworks, especially along the beach here. But I really don't know. As I said, I'll be in bed, and surely I'll be woken up at 12 o'clock with the noise. But in town around the temples, I don't know if there's going to be some gatherings. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the locals will enjoy ringing in the new year, although I haven't been here for a new year, so I'm not particularly sure. But I think we'll see some fireworks, not necessarily fireworks, along the beach. I might stay up, I don't know, see how I feel. Good morning and Happy New Year from Kowtow. I don't know where Kowtow is. Sorry, Beach Brian. Bill O'Neill from Wah Hin, back from a US visit. Thank you very much, Bill, for tuning in. Hi, Tim. Have a great new year, says Terence. Excuse me. Talking is difficult when I've got shingles. In 2023, we moved into our pool villa in Bang San, Jonbury. We love it. Antoine, congratulations, and hope you enjoy it. Let's go through some more of these super chats, and great to receive them, obviously. John S. in Melbourne, thank you very, very much for your super chat this morning, and appreciate your support. And also to Sleeveless in Siam, appreciate your support. Now, I've got a few other things that I think are going to be, well, I'm still sort of waiting for you to tell me what you think were the main issues in 2023. As far as Thailand's concerned, I just don't think you can get past the lead up to the actual election, and then the 4 months of speculation after the election and all the horse trading as a government was formed. So I think that was because it just changed everything. It changed the whole complexion and the way that people sort of saw the future here in Thailand. And I don't think as we look back at 23, you can think of any stories that had as profound an effect on the country as that big one. I know next year there's going to be some big elections as well. For example, in Taiwan, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in what happens there. And also, we're going to hear it ad nauseum, but there will be an election at the end of next year in the USA. And that, I'm not even sure if US citizens are looking forward to that. I think that's going to be messy. But it's going to happen, and what happens in that election will also be very important for the future of the following years around the world. Hello from Dallas, Texas, says Creasy Bear. And we've also got a Merry Christmas from Paul Cousins, a bit late. But yeah, thank you very much. I was feeling shocking. We had a lovely Christmas dinner, but I really wasn't very well. And Sleeveless in Siam saying Merry Christmas as well. I've got the Christmas tree here, but that'll get packed away straight after New Year. So no more Christmas tree. By the way, it's a bit like a storage shed here at the moment. I've got stuff from arsehole to breakfast. We are getting ready for turning this into its own Airbnb or short-term rental. And these chairs, they're like sort of loungy deck chairs. They're very, very comfortable. And they're sort of all part of the beach theme. So this room will look great by the time we've sort of got it all cleaned up. But I've got stuff all over the place because I've got my house, and then we've got the 3 short-term rentals. And a lot of new furniture has arrived, and there's boxes, and can't even remember what's in half the boxes. Got 3 or 4 new rugs arrived, and we've got some bathroom fittings and a new kitchen bench. Stuff everywhere. So we'll be looking forward to getting all this sorted out. The Wu-Tang Life says currently it's 34.5 degrees. I thought you were talking about the temperature. 34.9 Thai baht to the USD. Do you think the US dollar will be stronger or weaker against the Thai baht in 2024? Interesting question. I was checking the Thai baht against the USD yesterday, and it sort of goes up and down. Over the last year, it has gone up and down, and it will continue to go up and down. At the moment, it's somewhere in the middle, and it's not so much what Thailand does. It's really sort of what happens in the US, which determines whether the Thai baht goes up or down against the US dollar. I like it when the US dollar increases in value against the Thai baht because I get paid by United States companies who transfer money back to me here in Thailand. But I don't know. I couldn't possibly speculate that. I'd be interested in your speculation. But I think we'll probably see the Thai baht continue in that sort of 34 to 36 US dollars to 34 to 36 Thai baht to the US dollar over the next year. I think it'll just continue trading in that sort of range. I mean, unless something spectacular happens, and there could be, you just don't know, some black swan event, I think that's just going to continue. But I would be interested to hear your speculation on what you think is going to happen with the Thai baht. But it remains reasonably strong against a lot of other currencies. And I think that will probably continue. I think the Thai economy this year will probably perform well, not spectacularly, but will perform well. I think it's also going to be a year of consolidation. Clearly, this new Prime Minister's been out touting the country and the economy and the opportunity for investment in Thailand with a lot of different world leaders. He spent probably more time out of the country pumping up Thailand stocks than he has here in the country over the past 3 or 4 months. And I think we'll see some of that bear fruition over the next 12 months. Looks like during the week we've had 4 of the Japanese car companies announce quite big investments into car manufacturing here in Thailand with new technology and new models. So and that will continue. I know they're courting Tesla, they're courting Apple to try and get some investment from them. I don't think Apple's going to be spending much money on building watches here. Had a lot of problems, haven't they? So anyway, I'm interested in your speculation with 2024, and I will get on to what I think are some of the issues we should be looking towards in the next 12 months. Life was good at 40 baht to the US dollar. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still okay now. Can you get a new ceiling tile for the one missing behind you? Yes, I've got about 5 ceiling tiles I have to replace. And that one, there was a leak in the roof, and basically one day it just fell in. So we went up and fixed the roof, but we haven't had time to go in and replace that ceiling tile yet. Does it bother you? Does it really bother you? Okay. Can you get, and you're thinking, you have to pay tax on your overseas income. Yeah, of course I do. In fact, it's taken out before it gets sent here. So with any payments from the US government, I had to become a US taxpayer, had to sign all the documents and get an ID and everything. So my money, my taxation is taken out in the United States before it's sent to me here in Thailand. Happy New Year, says Richard. Thank you very much. Love the show. We would love to join you and Steve next fall in Turtle Beach. Fall. Fall is autumn. When's autumn here in Thailand? I'm trying to sort of figure it out. Oh, that'd be sort of spring. That's sort of August, September, October next year. I'm not very good with remembering my seasons in the north and the south. I'm from Australia. We don't even use the word fall, but I remember it does mean autumn. Life is going to... Thug Life, the proposed policy, which could cost 560 billion baht or more, aims to distribute 10,000 baht of digital money to every Thai citizen aged 16 years older. Okay, you're talking about... this is one of the policies from the Thai government. They're going to have this digital wallet, which will be 10,000 baht distributed, as you said, to all Thais over the age of 16. I don't think it's going to happen. There's been a lot of speculation. If it does happen, I think it will be heavily modified. I think it'll end up being some sort of a means test. It won't be every Thai over the age of 16. And I think they're going to change the way that it works if it happens at all. But thank you for reminding us about that particular issue. Yeah, The Pertai promised it, but there's so many governments that make promises before elections. The Prime Minister still wants it to happen. He's still pushing for it to happen, but it may become politically expedient for it not to happen, and I'm sure they'll hide behind any number of excuses for it not happening. My bet is it probably won't happen, but if it does, it will be heavily modified. Globe Bug. Question: Hi Tim, I had a massage in one of those wide deck chairs last week in Barngood, and it was so comfortable. I fell asleep a few times. Where did you get the chairs? Guess. They are very comfortable indeed. Lazada. So I can't even remember. If you just type in deck chair, you'll find it. You've been a long time in Thailand when you find yourself tuning into Tim. Fair. Your table is wobbly. Do you think so? Is it really? Oh, I didn't notice. I think the 10k baht is a smart move to juice the economy. Yeah, the idea of injecting a whole lot of money into an economy to give it a bit of a kickstart is not new. During COVID-19, there were a lot of Western economies that threw a lot of money injecting them into their economies to try and keep things bubbling along. So, and various governments at different times have used this type of tactic to give their economies a bit. I think the thing here in Thailand is that if they just give people 10,000 baht, it just might be frittered away on a new TV and some fancy new clothing or a new iPod or something. People still have iPods. So I think if they're going to spend 10,000 baht on citizens, coming up with some way of making sure that people spend it on something useful. I don't know, can you even do that? But we'll be interested to see what happens with that particular policy next year. So Jamie is saying that over the past 12 months, I'm assuming, Jamie, the high was 37.1 US dollars to the Thai baht. The low was 32.6. So it's been trading in that sort of range over the past 12 months. Okay, let's just go a bit further down. Scott D. Hi, Scott. And thank you very much for, your almost incessant and continued support of the program. You've got something to say. The audacity of the so-called Phuket taxi mafia staging protests and crying foul against ride app drivers is my number one rolling my eyes 2023 story. Truly mind-boggling and outrageous. I was at the airport the other day, and I get to the airport quite often, picking people up, dropping them off. And although the apps here in Thailand and in Phuket are now fully legal, the taxis are still forcing them, I don't know how, to pick up their customers outside the gate. Now, the app drivers are well entitled to pick their passengers up inside the grounds of the Phuket airport now. But somehow the taxi mafia, they're strong, they're powerful, they're well-funded, and, as they've proven in the past, from time to time they can get a bit violent as well. So, yeah, I saw people traipsing across the car park and getting into their app-based rides. So, yeah, it was audacious, wasn't it, Scott, when the government said, yeah, all the app-based, they're all legal, and the taxis decided to have a protest and say, oh, but we're not making enough money, you're ruining our income. What about our livelihoods? Oh, boy. But, yeah, Phuket's very, very, very busy at the moment, so all the taxis and the app drivers, everybody is very busy at the moment ferrying people around an increasingly crowded island, and somebody was mentioning some statistic some survey saying that Phuket was the most crowded holiday spot in the world. So I will look that up, and if so, I'll do that story on Monday. But yeah, after being there this week, I think I might have to agree with you. Thank you, Scott, very much for your ongoing support. And David Connolly has a question. Why does the Thai government release policy without any detail? I.e., this expat double taxation issue, it is freaking out a lot of expats, with some having left already. Not a good idea for tourism. Well, I don't think it's going to affect tourism, David, but it is going to potentially affect people living here in Thailand. Now, look, I've said enough about this, and there's no use us really saying much more about it, because until we know the exact details and how it's going to work on a sort of on the ground, not just in writing, not just in speculation, but actually on the ground, we can't really make a decision on whether it's going to affect us personally or not. And as I said yesterday, I can't give you any black and white answers about particular scenarios, because everybody is going to have a different taxation situation, where their money comes from, when it was taxed, when it's coming into the country. I mean, there's so many dimensions to it, and I'm not a tax expert, but I do know that the government has done this sort of thing in the past, where it sort of throws these little carrots in and just gets the reaction, and then just modifies them and changes them a bit. But I think it's going to take a few months until we actually see some examples of how the new taxation, the revised taxation, will affect people. Now, it won't affect tourism at all, I don't think. But potentially it could affect the property market. I mean, if people have to pay some sort of taxation on money they bring into the country to buy property, well, that would have a huge impact on the Thai property market. I would doubt very, very, very much if that would be the case. In the same way, I think it will be very doubtful if pensions, for example, will be taxed. But I'm not 100% sure. I just think that there would be such a huge impact in those two cases if there was some sort of tax levied on retirees who were just accepting a meagre pension coming into the country once a month or whenever it arrives. There would be a sort of a move. The question would be, where are you going to go? Because around the world, a lot of governments are now imposing different taxations, and a lot of these places that used to be free for retirees in regards to tax, they're changing their policies. So it's not as if you're going to be able to get away with it to a degree. And at some stage, if you are going to live in the country and there are tax rules, they're there for us to abide by. I mean, the government has to, build the roads and empty the rubbish bins and run the airports and do what else it does, look after the public healthcare system. So we are all part of that, and we all have to be part, if we're living here for more than 180 days, I think, the official ruling. But if we're going to partake in the country and all the things that it offers, we do have to pay our proportion of taxation. A lot of people will do what they can to minimise the tax impact if it does impact them. People will find workarounds, but it will be an issue next year. And in the things I've got in my list, tax implications. Yeah, there will be people who are going to have to see what the effect is, if it's going to affect them, and make some sort of decision about how they're going to either work around the tax, minimise their tax outlay, or make a move. And if you're going to make a move, where exactly do you think you're going to go? If you've got a tax problem, that means you've probably got enough money and freedom to be able to go, well, anywhere you'd like. My concern would be those people who could be impacted with just a small amounts of pension coming in to keep them going here in Thailand, and how they would be affected, because they have fewer options than people who perhaps have a bigger, larger tax problem and the opportunity to hire a professional tax expert to mitigate their tax liability. Okay. Comment. Somebody mentioned previously that the dye in those chairs may bleed and run, especially if you've been sweating. Oh, I don't sweat. I haven't noticed any of that. Look, I mean, yes, if you were going to wash that cover, I wouldn't be putting the white sheets in with it as well. I mean, obviously. So I haven't washed them yet, and maybe the dye does run. They're not particularly expensive, so yeah, there could be a few shortcomings, but at the moment, I just find them very comfortable. Question, why does the Thai government... Oh, we've already done that one. Let's just go a bit further, and we say thank you to... Where is that one? Brett. Oh, Brett, you are very kind and generous. Happy New Year, Tim, and everyone. One question. Are there any times during the year when you can't swim at Turtle Beach? I've only been living here for 3 months. Now, during the wet season, and that goes sort of from May to September, I'm talking about when the sort of the monsoon's running hard, usually from the southwest, but this year the southwest monsoon didn't really hit along the Andaman coast. It was a northwest monsoon for most of the year. I know that because I report the weather every single day. And I can't remember one day when we actually had southwesterly winds. They were all northwesterly this year, which was very, very unusual. So I would say that when that southwest monsoon is running and you've got 2 or 3 metre waves crashing in on the beach, you wouldn't want to be going into the water. The beach will still be very nice to walk along and enjoy and look out to sea. But yeah, I'm thinking there are probably 3 or 4 months on some days that you wouldn't want to be going into the water here at Turtle Beach. But you could say that in Phuket and just about anywhere along the Andaman coast. So Turtle Beach, not really different from other beaches, except that the waves break right on the shore here. There's no breaking out in the distance and then sort of just bubbling into the coastline like at places like Naihan, which has got a much shallower approach to the shore. Discretion, says Key J. Vague policies give the government more levers to pull down the road. That's an interesting thought. I'm not sure if the Revenue Department have done this in such a way that they're trying to be evasive. I think... Well, I don't know. I really don't know. So look, let's just wait and see. In 2 days, this is all going to start. But yeah, it won't affect you until you start paying tax a year later. But you may, if you've got a lot of money coming into the country, like to take on the advice of a tax expert here in Thailand, and they're rubbing their hands together thinking, oh, Revenue Department, thank you so much. Because there's going to be people seeking advice on all sorts of different levels. But yeah, I'm not really sure if they've done it to be intentionally evasive, but we'll just have to wait and see. For the most crowded holiday spots in the world, Bali takes some beating. I wouldn't go to Bali if you paid me to, said Thug Life. Now I know they are going to give 10,000 baht to every citizen, tax the foreigners. Oh, no, the two were mutually exclusive. Smash that like button, says Drew. Couldn't agree with you more. Sorry about rattling the table there. Using government money to stimulate the economy will only weaken the economy. The government will only print more money that they really do not have, thus devaluing the currency. Well, look what happened in the United States. I mean, no country had ever printed so much money to keep its economy going during COVID-19. You want to talk about socialism? My God, the government threw so much money, printed money, and threw it back into the economy. But in that case, they seem to have been able to manage it quite well. And Americans will be paying it back for decades and decades. But they did keep the economy going. And whilst that engine is running, It still seems to be working. So, look, I think there have been examples where governments have been printing money and it hasn't worked as well. But, again, I'm not educated enough to be able to give a solid answer on that. Every economy, you would have to imagine, would have a different impact with that sort of financial stimulation. Happy New Year, says Suzanne, and Happy New Year to you and your family as well. 510 watching, only 120 likes. 510 watching, that's amazing. Thank you all very much for joining in. Thanks, forgot to smash the like. My screen shows 47 likes, not 120. What's up with that? You might have to refresh. I don't know. I don't understand YouTube. I use it every day, but I can't say that I really understand it. What else have we got here? Jamie, I moved from Sacramento, loving life in Bangkok. And speaking of which, let's go to another issue I think is going to be a big issue next year. In fact, I think it's going to be a much bigger issue than it has been in the past. And it was a big enough issue over the past 3 or 4 years. And that is this issue of air quality, the PM 2.5 particulate, the smog, the smoke, the haze that will envelop Bangkok, northern Thailand, northeastern Thailand, central Thailand, and places beyond. So I think it's going to be a big problem this year because they've been doing a lot of pre-publicity, making a lot of promises. They've passed the Clean Air Act. There's been a lot of attention drawn to this issue and a lot more education, plus a lot more websites now where people can measure and check the air quality each day. I think next year it's going to be one of the main issues. And there's going to be a lot of excuses, there's going to be a lot of crackdowns, there's going to be a lot of press coverage and a lot more people talking about this issue than in the past. Such that, oh, come on, Tim, if we want to check, we'll go to this story in the Bangkok Post, pollution not taking a holiday in Bangkok. The New Year holiday may have dramatically reduced traffic on Bangkok streets, but air pollution remains a problem with 16 districts classified in the red zone for serious health impacts, and that happened yesterday. And 2 neighbouring provinces, Samut Sakhon, that's to the southwest of Bangkok, and Nonthaburi, which is just to the west, were in the red zone as well. And the reading in Samut Sakhon, that was 82, 76, and it shouldn't be over 37 is the... anything over 37 is considered worthy of talking about, according to the government. And pollution tends to worsen in the winter months because of crop burning. The Cabinet earlier this month approved incentives worth 8 billion baht for sugarcane farmers who agree to cut fresh sugarcane without burning the residue. But all these promises, all these changes, all this money being thrown at the problem, this is what matters, and this is the situation today. Thank you to iqair.com. And, well, complete clusterfuck there, Bangkok, with those pretty much northerly winds in the capital, blowing smoke and stuff down from central Thailand. And, yeah, we've got some readings in the red. Just going out a bit further, and got 4 circles there. The top circle is sort of northern Thailand, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai. We've also got out in the northeast there, looking a little bit better today. And then in the centre there, the centre circle, that is Bangkok and environs, looking particularly bad. Then down south, the further you go down south, places like, well, where I live, places like Phuket and some of the southern islands, much better air quality throughout the year, even though we've got a few yellow spots today. Now, just going a little bit further, excuse me, this is looking a little bit further north, and I've got 2 circles there. The lower circle is North Vietnam, which looks particularly bad today. And then the upper circle there is around Shanghai in Thailand, and that would be a lot of industrial smoke and smog in that particular area. Very, very bad air quality today. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be one of the main stories over the next 12 months. And it starts now. So January, February, March, April, it'll start dissipating after Songkran. The winds turn around and the crop burning stops, and the problem sort of all magically goes away. But I think the 4 months this year, we're going to see the worst air quality we've ever had in Thailand. And there's so much more interest and information and education about it that I think it's going to really start impacting the government, and we'll start seeing some more concrete action. They're just going to be forced into it. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Of course, I could be wrong. What else we got? Somebody brought up a very important thing. Something about high airfares. Here we are. Bottle Baby said, high airfares were my biggest issues this year. And I mentioned in my notes that airfares, I think, will continue to be a problem for some people trying to travel. Airfares were a problem this year. They will continue. High airfares will continue to be a problem next year. I noticed last week there was a story from the Civil Aviation Authority saying, oh no, airfares are going to drop. Well, I'll bet my bottom dollar they don't. You'll still be able to get discount airlines. If you shop around, you can still find cheaper airfares, but not as cheap as they used to be. And the higher airfares are much higher than they used to be. I'm estimating that most airfares are between 1.5 and 2 times what they used to be pre-COVID at the moment. So interested in your thoughts on airfares for next year. Do you think we'll see a reduction in airfare costs during 2024? And let's just thank a few more people. I thanked Brett and appreciate that. Thai Sweden for fun. Thank you very, very much for your generous support of the program. Thank you, Tim, for your news, and Happy New Year. And thank you too. Are you in Sweden at the moment? It'll be a lot colder in Sweden at the moment than it is here in Thailand. Ralph is saying something. Shanghai's in China, not Thailand. You spelled it wrong. That's why I'm a bit confused. I know Shanghai's in China. Been there. Did I say Shanghai's in Thailand? I don't think I did. Great show, Tim. Good luck in 2024. Thank you very much, Slack O. And also I've got to thank David Clark. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. A coffee for you and Steve. Yes, we'll enjoy that, and we'll think of you when we enjoy it. But good to catch up with you briefly online this year, and look forward to seeing you and your family sometime next year. Happy New Year to you and yours. Okay, so what else we got? Waiting for Tim to reply, says Ralph Lewis. Waiting. There are more comments than I could possibly address. I'm never going to be able to address everybody's, so if I do miss out, I apologise. Thug Life, can you get demonetised for saying naughty words, Tim? No. Well, yes and no. I've read about this, and there's some people who think that if you don't say anything bad in the first 30 seconds, you can get away with it. I've said a few swear words from time to time, including today. I don't seem to get demonetised for it these days. I think it's to do with the fact that we've got an adult audience, that the programs are not designed for kids. Again, it's not as if YouTube has got you can't say this word. That it's not like that. It's all to do with context, and I think how you use the words and the manner in which you use the words. But I haven't been flagged for any bad language on YouTube. Oh, God. So we'll just have to see. But yeah. If the government or investor buys harvesters and leases them to the farmers, they could, like we do in Queensland, use a baler and sell it off as mulch. Rob, you've got a very, very big plantation industry, sugarcane, maize, what else? Rice, of course. Yeah, you're talking about a real sort of major shift in the way that farming is done here in Thailand. They're simply going to have to look at some of these types of things in the future. But just turning around the Thai agricultural system, which is sort of steeped in culture and traditions, and it's reasonably impoverished as well. It's just not going to happen overnight. It's certainly not going to affect the next 4 months of air pollution, I don't think. But we're just going to have to see. But as I said, I think you're right. The government's going to be forced into some of these major changes, whether they like it or not. Happy New Year to each and every one of you, says Dam1. We shared a lot of fun in 2023. Long may it continue. Stay fit, stay healthy, stay witty. I'm off to the beach. Good luck to you. Flights from and to Australia from Thailand are back to pre-COVID prices, says David. Not in all cases. I was looking at flights back to... I was going to surprise my sister for her birthday, but it was ridiculous prices. And I was looking at Scoot and Air Asia. I didn't think they were particularly cheap. But again, you can find some cheaper fares from time to time. But I think across the board, on average, the flights are still quite expensive. But thank you for your point of view. George Carlin knew those words you couldn't say. Okay, thank you. Ralph Lewis, I see a lot of baled straw rice, etc. for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so we'll just do a few more comments here and see if there's anything I've missed. What else did I have to talk about as far as predictions for next year? Go out of that one, go into this one. Yes. So another thing I think is going to be a problem next year is a lot of the same places that have been popular in Thailand in the past will continue to be popular in the future. And I know the TAT is trying to do something about this by saying to people, look, don't just go to Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Chiang Mai. Go to other parts of Thailand, because tourist cram in some of these tourist hotspots, the tourist ghettos, the tourist magnets, I think is going to be an increasing problem. There are parts of Phuket at the moment which are almost just unnavigable. You can't get your way around them. Chiang Mai, you cannot drive around that town anymore. Now, 4 or 5 years ago when I was working there, it was okay. Now you just can't get around. The little streets aren't getting any bigger, but they're still popping up condos and new hotels, and the traffic has just become impossible just along that whole west coast. I think tourist cram is going to be a problem that the government and the tourist czars are going to have to address, and getting people, encouraging them to go and visit other parts of Thailand and spreading the load of the tourist traffic to other places other than the usual tourist magnets. Now, in Bangkok alone, of course, it's a huge city and you can sort of get out there and there's plenty to see beyond Sukhumvit Road and Silom. But yeah, I mean, if you are going to go and travel to the places that are popular and you've enjoyed in the past, maybe spend a couple of days there, but then spend the rest of your holiday visiting new spots here in Thailand, because there are so many wonderful new locations for you to discover. Some of them I think you'll probably end up enjoying much more than those places that you've thought you've enjoyed in the past. So I think tourist cram is going to be a problem in some of those major hotspots, and the government's going to have to do something about encouraging people to move out into the sticks and have a look at other parts of Thailand and spend your money on other than just the same old restaurants in the hotspots in those tourist areas. And another thing that I mentioned here I thought was important next year is going to be economic momentum. As I said earlier, I don't think Thailand's going to have, they're not predicting an enormous growth, but I think they've revised it down from 3.4% GDP next year down to 2.5%, which is still quite solid growth. A lot better than a lot of Western countries are predicting. But again, I think it's going to be a year for this new government to consolidate the Thai economy, and a lot of the things they've been putting into action over the past 4 months and a lot of this investment they've been encouraging, some of that's going to kick off next year. So keeping that economic momentum going, softly, gently, keeping the tourist numbers coming in, without any huge major changes, is going to be an important part of Thailand for the next 12 months. Mark Anderson with a bit of Martha Gardner advice here. Martha Gardner used to do a sort of a household advice on 3AW back in the 70s and the 80s. Tim, there's a way to stop most colours running in fabric before the first wash. Soak it overnight in a bucket of water with a cup of table salt. It acts as a mordant to fix the dye. Thank you very much, Mark. I will keep that in mind. And we'll at some stage throw those covers. I think it might just be cheaper in some ways. I know you can get new covers very, very cheaply for these particular chairs. Richard Woolley, people will not want to pay tax on retirement income and will just move to another country where they're treated better. Personally, I think we all know that. Richard, I hear what you're saying. What country? Where are you going to go? And if you're not paying any tax at all at the moment and you have to start paying tax, is that really such an encumbrance? Well, we should be paying tax somewhere along the system. As far as pensions, I don't believe in a pink fit that the Thai government's going to be taxing pensions. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. But Richard, it's all very well saying that retirees are going to leave, but a lot of them, they won't be able to leave. And a lot of people are going to find workarounds. I think it's going to be the year of workarounds for people living in Thailand who bring money into the country. There's going to be a lot of advice, some good, a lot bad, on the internet about how to get around these new rules when we find out exactly what the implications are. And somebody asking about Steve, so you can ask Steve any questions you want to address to him. And thank you very much to David. And with that, Thailand Stock Exchange down 18% for the year. Thank you very much, Big Y Dave. That's a really good point. The Thai Stock Exchange has had a bad year. The last 6 months or so have just, been in a bit of a free fall. So very good point. Maybe it's foreshadowing a good year for 2024, but if you've been in the Thai stock market this year, it has not been a good year. So thank you very much, Big Y Dave, for reminding us about that. Not answering repeated highlighted questions either. Oh, where are we? What highlighted questions are there? What have I missed? I don't want to do this. I don't want to avoid questions. I'm not trying to avoid anything. Can you get demonetized saying naughty words? Oops, Tim, a bad word. If the Thai government. Question, do you think an air purifier is essential living in Thailand? If you're living in anywhere north of Bangkok, yes. Down here in southern Thailand, no. Question, I'm not going to be reading Steve's question, anything about Steve. People will not want to pay tax on retirement income and will just move to, I think we've done that one. What did I miss? Turtle Beach or Krabi looks like a good option to be just close enough to Phuket for a retiree. Yeah, I mean, I always said when I was living in Phuket, if there was a situation where I was going to need to move from Phuket, there were plenty of places nearby. And here I am, 20 minutes north of Phuket, where I'm now living. Plenty of beaches around Krabi and south. You go to Koh Lanta. Right along the coast here from Natai Beach, Koh Loi Beach, Turtle Beach. Then you got Khao Lak, I mean, plenty of beaches, other places that you can live if you like the beach life besides Phuket, because there's no places along the beach which are cheap in Phuket anymore. Will American SSI be taxed by treaty? It isn't supposed to be, says Tim. Again, everybody's saying, well, you've got these double taxation treaties, but each country's got a slightly different double taxation treaty, and it's going to depend on your personal tax situation. My plans to move to Thailand as a retiree expat are on hold until the tax issue is finalised. Imagine if your required deposit of about 25,000 USD per retiree were taxed as income. A fair question, Tim. And I can't give you an answer on that. And my gut feeling is that nobody actually can give you a definitive answer at this time. Cats don't sweat, says Sleepless in Siam. Have we got a cat there? No, we don't have a cat there at the moment. I'm not sure what I've missed. Apparently I've missed some questions that were highlighted. I didn't mean to, but I have. So just scrolling down to see if anybody's having a whinge at me again. I pay US tax, I pay Thai tax, and now I am temporarily paying Albanese's drug dealing tobacco taxes. I don't understand that. Do you feel the tourist destinations are overrun with Ivan? Too many Russian tourists, I suppose you're saying. Certainly there's plenty of Russians here in Thailand at the moment. Particularly Phuket, where they're the highest number of arrivals on a daily basis. I can't really comment on that. They certainly haven't bothered me. I've had 2 Russian families staying at my short-term rental, and they were both delightful families. I have absolutely no complaints. But I don't think that in itself is an issue. I know some people will want it to be an issue or make it an issue, but I think the Thais, after the 3 years of COVID, are just very happy to have any tourists coming back to the country. And the Russians do spend a lot of money. Richard Woolley said something important, apparently. What did Richard say that people enjoyed? I'm sorry, just the comments run far too fast for me to follow, and I'm sorry if I did miss some people's comments there that were highlighted. I do my best to try and to get to them. Oh, here's a good one. Lance Link. No. How do you prove tax in your bank account has had tax paid? Well, that's going to be up to you to prove if you're asked to prove it. Bill Ellis, question, do you prefer people to book direct or with Airbnb? You can book direct with me. You can send me an email. And yeah, of course, I prefer a direct booking because then I don't pay some 18 to 20% to the various websites. Mind you, those websites do a fantastic job to publicise my short-term rental. But yeah, if you'd like to send me an inquiry on email, I'm happy to take a direct booking. Otherwise, there's links in the description in this video to both Bonneville and Coral Cottage, which are the 2 current places we have available. Thanks for asking. Go Natty to help with the chat. Get Natty. I don't know where. I haven't spoken to Natty for 6 months, so I don't know where she is. Is tax directed to retirees? No. This tax change is about taxing Thais and foreigners, not just foreigners, and certainly not aimed at retirees. But there are some retirees who may be caught in the crossfire on this. My voice is just about gone, so I'm going to say goodbye. Excuse me. Bloody shingles. Question, do 5-Star Marine do trips to places far away as Langkawi Island in Malaysia? Wilco, I believe they do, and they've recently gone right down to the south of Thailand, so you're crossing the border. I don't know. Look, you might have to ask Sean. Good question, though. But I know they go right down the very, very southern islands of Thailand just before Langkawi. So shoot a message off to Sean and ask him. But that would be a good trip, wouldn't it? Be a long trip. But yeah, good question. Will Thai Airways change their flight back to a later time going to Australia from 8:30 a.m? I have no idea. I don't think Thai Airways would know on a monthly basis exactly what their flight times are going to be. They do have to change things and shuffle things around as they're still way in the early stages of recovery. Geezer break. Tim, do you think it's fair that the US gets your tax when you're using Thai infrastructure? Well, it's just the way the system works. I do have to pay tax in the United States, even though I don't drive on their roads or use their health care system, but it's just the way the system works. I understand I could probably make some sort of claim, but I figure it's not that much money, and it would cost me more to hire an accountant over there to make any claim. Good question, but hasn't bothered me so far. Any single men from any country are bad news. Steroids or no, says James1. Okay. And was told as a kid there's 2 guarantees in life. This is some wisdom about to be expounded by Dom McCarthy. Life, death and taxes. Up to us all to keep our affairs in order, and many ways to do it. But fact, it is a duty, even a social responsibility. Yes, indeed. So thanks everybody for joining in. I'd like to wish you all the best for a healthy and prosperous 2024. Hopefully you make some resolutions, and some of them might be kept. I figure most of them won't. But the main thing is to just aim to try and be as happy as you can next year. And whatever you can do in your life to make your life happier and less complicated is probably a good thing. So let's aim at that for next year. Say goodbye to 2023. Enjoy the celebrations tomorrow night. And as I said, I'll be in bed by 9, I'm pretty sure. But good luck for your celebrations and best wishes for 2024.